Yes, it's more than good enough. If we were comparing it to most games on the platform, that is. But let's get into more detail. Main reason I wanted to check this game out is because it's made by the Rail team, the same guys that are bringing us Rail C's, and I want to see if the stuff they showed us is going to be bad in actual gameplay. Because most Roblox games that come out are now either Blox Fruit / Bandit Beaters, or popular anime with a straight pay to win or pay to have fun features. So I was skeptical, but I was greatly surprised by just how great this game is in a lot of aspects. Part 1, what is Shindo Life? It is a game based off Naruto and its sequel Boruto, a popular anime. The game includes jutsus, modes, special eyes, bloodlines, elements, kenjutsu, different types of weapons, throwables, wall running, and roof running when that works, tree jumping, huge bosses with unique models based off the show, like the tailed beast and slugs. That's a very quick summary of what's in the game without going into too much detail, but let's get into the first thing you'll see before you even play. Part 2, spinning and customization. Once you log in, before you can play, you'll want to make your character all black like everyone else, just kidding, do whatever you want. Then you're going to want to spin for a bloodline and elements of your choosing. And the amount of codes these devs give out in the past weeks, it's like 7 codes in like the past week. So you're more likely to get what you want. But if not, you're most likely to get something decent enough to play the game with. My recommendations, if you're new though, are to try to get the Earth element because it's really easy and it's good for boss killing. And for Bloodline, Shadow, or Apollo. Those are really good for boss killing as well, but you can pretty much get any bloodline as they're pretty good ones, even the bad ones. Those just help a lot with early game grinding for tailed beast and any big boss. Here's a picture though of every bloodline in the game on a tier list I found. There's a lot to choose, so go whatever picture fancy. Part 3, your first levels. This is where most get lost. Spawn in any village, it doesn't matter which one, they all have the same basic missions. And you're like, well, how do I level? Well, you see those icons, the stars and the scrolls? Those are your normal missions. They include delivering something, cleaning, or taking down graffiti. But the main ones you'll be doing once you get a little more levels under your belt are the green scroll missions, which are the kill the enemy missions. But if you don't feel like doing that, you don't have to. You can hit a log for XP. You can even type in the command !auto-click on the game for it to click for you, and you can spend your time doing something else. Or if you just feel like AFKing for a good second, it's a good quality of life feature. So after you hit around 350 to 400 from whatever source you like, you can start taking on bosses. The main PvE part of the game, and what most people will spend their time doing. But remind you, a good chunk of these bosses will beat you bad if you don't either have the skill level or the game knowledge of how your moveset works. So don't feel too bad if you gotta go get a couple more levels before fighting them. But this brings me to my next point, modes. Modes are very important to have if you're going to be fighting anything in this game. Modes give you a huge stat boost and will sometimes have a special, but most of the time they only have a C, but if they do, it'd either be Q or the E spec. That is related to the mode. So make sure you have a mode of some kind before fighting any bosses, as you will get stomped without one. Part 4, mid to late game. You've now killed your fair share of bosses and got some scrolls from them, and maybe you've even gotten a Z spec. And what's a Z spec that you might say? They're usually modes that you can stack with their C mode. Things this would include all Gen 3s of the Tail Beasts, well, all beasts in general, all the Sage modes, Curse Spirit modes, and other miscellaneous modes you might get from certain scrolls or bloodlines. So you're now ready to do all the content in the game, so let's get into what that content is. Part 5, game modes. There's a bunch of game modes in this game, but there's truly only 4 different ones. There's the RPG PvP, where you can use your own custom movesets. Non-RPG PvP, where you use loadouts designed by the game's developers. The dungeon mode, where you can earn certain bloodlines, Rio, and rail coins, and even game passes if you're lucky, which is crazy. I've never seen earnable game passes in any other Roblox games. And then the open world mode, which is a map made from all the other villages combined, where you can choose what you want to be. It's more for roleplay purposes as far as I can tell. Then My Room, where you can save your outfit and also AFK for rewards like Rio and spins, which is also very useful. And you're also able to kill any boss in the game now as long as you're skilled enough. So yeah, that's basically all you have to do now that you're mid to late. Part 6, problems. However, there's a couple aspects that could use improvement, like the rarity of elements to kenjutsus from spinning, and scroll spawn times. Obtaining rail elements like acid and cement and kenjutsu techniques can significantly enhance gameplay, but the current drop rates make them quite challenging, and sometimes frustrating. There is no reason a kenjutsu should cost 10 spins for one when your chances are horrible to get one. And the elements have a 1 in 80 spin chance for the rare ones, but the common ones are so common that you'll always get them. You'll have a super annoying time trying to get those elements. Adjusting the drop rates would help and provide a more balanced progression curve and enhance the player's overall experience and reduce the frustration of just using the same 5 elements. And scroll farming is boring. You're just waiting and looking at the top right corner at the time and a spreadsheet, jumping from server to server, hoping you get what you want. And other than a few unfair fights, I'm looking at you the Boruto vs. Squawky event. The bosses are well balanced enough, not perfect, but they're clearly not cakewalks or too easy, so it's fine enough to keep you engaged. Lastly, while I don't think it's an awful problem, PvPing 2 people at the same time is near impossible, but it's clearly it wasn't designed around that, so cut them some slack. Part 7, final thoughts. While I don't think the game is perfect, I do enjoy enough to confidently say that I've enjoyed this game 10 times more than just playing through all of Blox Fruits. The game progression is so horrendous, and the fact the whole genre came out of that style of progression, the Bandit Beater, makes me want to die from all the new ones that keep coming out, but that's a topic for a later video. For the score, I give it an 8 out of 10 for now, because the problems it does have are major ones, but not progression breaking, like having to jump servers and block fruits and hoping the boss wasn't killed because their spawn times are horrendous. It doesn't have that kind of problem. And for potential, I think most of it's already been added, which is crazy to say, so I'll give it a 5 out of 10 for potential. Because most of it's already been added, so I don't know what else I could add at this point. Like and subscribe, Zayzols and Zayzets. I want to be ninja. I want to be ninja. I want to chop right down to Chinatown. I want to be ninja.